I told you. Zion is here. After that historic NBA debut, and that was a historic debut, Zion has put himself on the NBA map. Listen, whether it's Rookie of the Year, whether it's taking the Pelicans to the playoffs, whether it's challenging the LeBrons, the Kobes, the Michael Jordans, dare I say, for the GOAT status, Zion just put the NBA on notice. We're going to talk about on this episode if Zion could be the next GOAT. I know it sounds crazy, but Zion Williamson, after a historical high school run, an amazing college run, a historical preseason, an historical NBA debut, he plays tonight in Game 2 of his NBA career. What more could he do for a follow-up act after that explosion? Stick around. Let's go ahead and get into it. Welcome back to Journey of a Ballaholic, the best talk show for basketball addicts. I'm your host, General Hannibal X. Now, this episode, we're going to be discussing Zion Williamson and his historic NBA debut. Now, we call it historic for one reason and one reason only. He did something that no one else has ever done in the history of the NBA. Since they've been tracking stats, right, since the shot clock era, no player has ever, in NBA history, scored 20 or more points in the NBA debut in less than 20 minutes. Let's put that into context. Zion only played 18 minutes in his opening game against the San Antonio Spurs. And for the first 3 quarters, it was kind of subpar. I'm going to be honest with you. You know, as a fan of Zion's, you know, he looked to be out of shape. He looked to be, you know, a step slow. And I don't think that the minute restriction that they had him on really allowed him to truly be Zion. But the fourth quarter came and it was a semi-close game, you know, within, 9-10 points. And one thing that I loved about Zion, right, was that a lot of times players need to be able to get in a rhythm, see the ball go through the basket before they can get into an offensive flow or a nice rhythm, right? That's not Zion. Zion got into his rhythm by rebounding the ball, a hustle play, jumping literally over Jakob Poeltl's back, grabbing a rebound, pushing the break, kicking it out, and making the pass. That's what ignited that offensive explosion. 17 points in a 3-minute span. Now, once again, it's just his first game. It's a very small sample size. I get that. But if you only look at this one game, this one 18-minute stretch, this one 3-minute in particular stretch, you may say it's a small sample size, but you got to remember, Zion dominated the preseason. He dominated the preseason. 23 points a game, which is the highest of any freshman as far as the one and done era. Anybody coming into the game in the last 10 or so years, he scored the most points, number one. He averaged 71% from the field. Everything was just layup, dunk. He shot a couple threes. I think it was 25% from the threes. He gave you about 7 rebounds. Zion showed in the preseason, I can play with the big boys. But people questioned him. When Zion dominated at Duke, remember, he was putting historic numbers at Duke. As a freshman, one of the greatest freshmen to ever play college basketball, regardless of how many games he played, regardless of the fact that Duke didn't win a championship. Almost 23 points, 9 rebounds, 68% from the field. 68% from the field. And he still shot almost 34% from 3. So, Zion is not a sniper. What we saw opening night, 4 for 4 from 3, he probably will never have another game like that his entire career, where he hits that many threes and doesn't miss. That's not the point. The point was Zion did something that even some more of established players don't do or took them much longer to do. That's have the confidence to take the shot. Zion took the shot when the Spurs decided to give it to him. That's one of the things that Ben Simmons, still to this day, is struggling with, where teams will literally just sag off him. Giannis, last year in the playoffs, had to learn that he would improve greatly over the summer working his jump shot because the Raptors backed up off him, giving him that jump shot. Zion showed that if you give me that shot, I will take this flat-footed shot, and I'm going to hit him. Listen, he's not a sniper. His shooting is one of his weaknesses. But the fact that he was able to take them and make them let defenses know, you can't just give me wide open shot. You're not going to do to me what you've done to Ben Simmons. You're not going to do to me what you did to LeBron early in his career, what coaches did to Rajon Rondo. You're not going to play him like that. And we saw, if you remember, at the end of that game, right before, Alvin Gentry was struggling whether or not to keep him in there, whether to take him out. He was torn between what to do because he knew he needed to take him out, and they made the right decision to take him out. That last three that he hit over LaMarcus Aldridge, he gave Aldridge a jab step. He had blown past Aldridge early in the game. He gave Aldridge a jab step which created just enough space. Zion you have to respect his three. So one of the things that I truly love about what I saw, even early in the game, before he wanted that offensive explosion, was his poise. There was a play early in the game where he hit Brandon Ingram with a pass. He's in the post. LaMarcus Aldridge is guarding him, a 10-year vet or whatever. And Greg Popovich, one of the best coaches in the game, sends a double team to Zion on the box. As soon as he catches the ball, as soon as he's the vision, the instinct to whip that thing right over to Brandon Ingram in traffic on the money. That vision and passing that he has, that's only going to get better. As the game slows down, that will only get better. We see plays when he was at Duke, and he was playing alongside of other legitimate players. RJ Barrett, Cam Reddish, Trey Jones. He was playing with other talent, and he was able to excel. That's the situation he's in right now with New Orleans. New Orleans literally is the perfect scenario for Zion. It's perfect. Think about this. Zion is in a position that very few young players get an opportunity to come into. Jordan didn't get this. LeBron didn't get this. Magic had it. Magic had it to a whole nother level. But to be able to come in as a rookie and have legitimate talent around you. Now, granted, I'm not saying that Brandon Ingram or Lonzo Ball or Drew Holiday or JJ Redick are world beaters, superstars, anything. I'm not saying that. But these guys are solid NBA players. Specifically, Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday has an extensive career of being able to show, I can ball, two-way player. He's going to make the game easier for Zion. Lonzo and his passing, his willingness to push the ball is going to make the game easier for Zion. Brandon Ingram and his emergence as a all-star caliber player is going to make the game easier for Zion. When you put legitimate talent around him, it's going to take the pressure off of him. What I mean by that is this. Zion is going to be first of all, he's a player that does not need the ball in his hands. This is one of the things where I think he can truly become a special talent. Most players that we consider the best players in the game are ball-dominant players, whether it's the Kobe's, whether it's the Magics, whether it's the Jordans, whether it's the LeBrons. They need the ball in their hand to truly be successful. That's not Zion. Zion is unlike anything we have ever seen before. When he was playing at Duke, he was playing, first of all, people got to remember this. He didn't come into Duke as, quote-unquote, the best player. He wasn't even the number one ranked player in that class. That was RJ Barrett. Zion was able to play off the ball. Coach K, the greatest college coach in the game today, put the ball in RJ Barrett's hand or Trey Jones' hand, sometimes even in Cam Reddish's hand. Very few times was Zion initiating the offense. And that's by design. He's a player that you want to move off the ball. He's a player that you can post up. He's a player that you can have set screens, pick and roll. He's a player that in transition will just run like a deer. He's that guy that does not need to pound the ball, dribble, set a pick. That's not him. Give him the ball as a finisher, and he's an elite finisher. Once again, we're talking about a guy who in college, 68%, preseason 71%, in his opening night game against the Spurs, almost 73% from the field. He's going to be among the league leaders in field goal percentage because he is that efficient, that explosive and electric around the basket. There was a couple of plays that he had where you saw that quick twitch, that second jump that he has. It's special, man. I'm talking that is special. The ability to be able to go up once, miss a shot, and go get it, to bounce back up off the floor quicker than the players around you, that's special. He's going to get easy baskets off of just second chance opportunities. The Spurs tried to play him a couple different ways, and this is the greatness of Greg Popovich. The Spurs tried to play with big men, whether it was LaMarcus Aldridge or Jakob Poeltl. Then they tried to play with small guys. We saw DeMar DeRozan on them at one point. Zion's a matchup nightmare. He's a player that he's a matchup nightmare. If you put big guys on him, like a LaMarcus Aldridge, like a Jakob Poeltl, right? And one of the things, if you remember that when Zion went on that run, that explosion in the fourth quarter, he was playing as the small ball 5. Now, Zion's only about 6'6", 6'7", right? But he's at 280 and just a mammoth of a man down low. He has that ability to sort of like, for those who remember Chuck Hayes, who used to play for Houston, used to be. He was only about 6'6", but played the center position. Zion can be that. He can be that small ball 5 because he's so big and he's so strong and so explosive. When you put him at the 4 or the 5, the big guys are just not, their foot speed is just not good enough, right? Unless you're talking about somebody like Anthony Davis or Giannis, we're not talking about, those are the elite of the elites. But the average big man, they're just not fast enough to be able to keep up with him when he faces up and catch the ball on the perimeter and faces up. He will literally just go by them. That's why you have to give him space. That's why Greg Popovich did what most coaches are going to do, which is going to say, back off of him, give him space. We will live and die with him shooting the jumper. And if he's hitting it, good night. Good night. If the Pelicans played Zion 20 minutes, 25 minutes in that game, they win the game. They would have won that game. The momentum was favoring them. Zion had literally led them back from like a 9-10 point deficit to take the lead. I mean, it was a one-possession game when he went out the game. Zion's ability to just energize the arena, his teammates, everything. Like, he's literally the example of lead by example. He just goes out there and plays hard every second of every play. Now, granted, once again, he was out of shape. It was very evident that he needs to get in NBA game shape. But that's part of the why I think his ceiling is so high. Think about this for a second. He was out of shape. He was on a minutes restriction. And he still had 22 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists in limited time. In his first NBA game. Where, I mean, just think about that. A 17-point explosion in a 3-minute span. Listen, if you scored 17 points in a game, that's acceptable. That's acceptable. If you score 17 points in a half, you're on pace for a 34-point game. That's really good. If you score 17 points in a full 12-minute quarter, you're on pace for a 68-point game. My point of saying that is he scored 17 in just 3 minutes. Now, that was a get hot streak that, like we've never seen before, especially from a guy who can play inside and outside. And we saw when he went on that box and they tried to put a smaller person like DeRozan on him, it was a mismatch. You can't play someone smaller on him because he has that ability, unlike a lot of young players coming into the game, who LeBron James, in his 17th season, we're starting to see him more and more get into that post. Zion will take you to that post now. He was doing it in college, preseason, and in the first game he showed, I will go to the post, and if you put a smaller player on me, I'm going to back him down and bully ball him under the basket, or if you try to front me, I'm just going to put my hand up in the air and they're going to throw it right over top of you because you can't jump with me. How do you guard him? How do you guard him? And this is one of the reasons why I think he's going to put himself in that GOAT conversation. Zion plays defense. It's an innate ability that he has, the instincts that he's going to be an elite level defender. The comparisons that I've heard, some of them are just ridiculous. I've heard Sean Kemp. No, Zion is a combination. He's something that, first of all, we've never seen before. He's not LeBron James. That's not him. What Zion is a combination of 3 players. If you take the offensive ability, if you take the upper body strength of a Larry Johnson, right? Mix that with the rebound and go ability of a Charles Barkley, and the lower body, right, of a Charles Barkley, and then add on the multifaceted two-way ability of a Draymond Green, meaning his ability to play defense, but also to be able to facilitate as a secondary playmaker, not the primary playmaker, a secondary playmaker to be able to make passes to others. Put Larry Johnson, Charles Barkley, and Draymond Green together and you have Zion Williamson. That's a scary, and then on top of that, add Sean Kemp's athletic ability. That's a scary mix right there. And I think that his ability to once again play defense, his ability to pass the ball, his vision, his ability to attack with a quick first step, a quick second jump on offensive second chance points, and his ability to be respectable from outside, he literally has no weaknesses. His only weakness is health concerns, minutes restrictions. Like, that's his only concern. That's the only thing that will dethrone Zion from being the greatest player to ever play the game. Winning has to come with being the GOAT, right? To me, Michael Jordan is the greatest player to ever live. And he did that because he won championships. Zion has to win championships. And I think being in New Orleans is a perfect place for him to get that jump started. This is what I mean. Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, this young core that he has, Alexander Walker, Jackson Hayes, Josh Hart, like this young squad that the Pelicans have, in my opinion, is the best young squad in the game. I would take them over Memphis. I love Ja Morant. And I think Ja Morant still will win Rookie of the Year. Zion it's not enough games left for him to play for him to catch Ja Morant. So Ja Morant will win Rookie of the Year, but I would take the Pelicans this year to end with a better record than Memphis, who currently is fighting right now with San Antonio for the 8th seed. I think the Pelicans are going to leapfrog Memphis. I think that Zion and the Pelicans have a better young core than Memphis did with Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson, and the rest of those boys. I think that Zion and his ability to play and to learn from a JJ Redick on the NBA professionalism, to learn from a Drew Holiday, to learn from a coach like Alvin Gentry, he's literally been put in the best scenario, the best situation you possibly could. Granted, he's playing in a small market, so it's not, if he was playing in LA or New York, big market, the media, and the media frenzy is going to be crazy wherever he is, but he's in one of the smallest markets and it's still a media frenzy. So imagine if he was with the Lakers or with the Knicks or something like that. So he's in literally the perfect position that he could be in to succeed. But that's where it comes down to, succeeding, winning. And I think that this team and making the playoffs is going to be tough because they're about 4-5 games out of the playoff picture as we speak. That's going to be tough, man. That's going to be tough. But I'm going to go on record. My mind is saying they won't make it, but my heart is saying that they will. And I'm going to stand on record saying that the New Orleans Pelicans, led by Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram, Drew Holiday, Lonzo Ball, they're going to sneak in and get that 8th seed. Now imagine that, for instance. Imagine that the basketball guys gave us the New Orleans Pelicans as the 8th seed. Do you know what that means? That would mean we would get a first-round matchup between the Los Angeles Lakers, the LeBron James and Anthony Davis LA Lakers, versus the New Orleans Pelicans led by Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, Lonzo Ball. Like, you couldn't ask for a better storyline than that as a first-round playoff. I don't want to see, as a Laker fan, I don't want to see the Lakers sweep through the Spurs, sweep through the Trailblazers, or sweep through the Memphis Grizzlies. If they gonna sweep through somebody, let them sweep through the Pelicans. And let me get that storyline of being able to see Zion versus LeBron in the playoffs. What? We couldn't, I don't care what team you root for. That's what you should want to see as a first round matchup, is the Pelicans versus the Lakers and Zion versus LeBron. LeBron right now to me is still the best player in the game. His ability to control the game is second to none, right? His talent on both ends of the court, his ability to make others better is one of the reasons why he's the best player in the game. And I think Zion's going to make others around him better, and it's not necessarily going to be a traditional way that we've seen other players make others better. Like Magic and LeBron would make players better by, putting them in positions to win, right? Setting them up to score and to feel a part of the team, right? Kobe and Jordan did it differently. They led with iron fist, steel sharpens steel. That's how they kind of led and made players better around them, made them winners and champions, right? Zion's going to do it differently. Zion, I think, is going to be more of a quiet, especially early in his career, but I think he'll, eventually as he grows, because he's still a kid, he'll get his own voice and be able to lead vocally. But I think it's going to be his effort, his intensity, his motor. He's going to lead that way. He's going to make others want to dive on the floor, go for that loose ball, hustle, bust their butt every second, every play. He's going to make others better in that regard. I think when he practices, he probably practices as hard as he plays. I can't imagine he doesn't. The Pelicans got something special. The NBA world has something special. We should all hope that Zion stays healthy so that we can see this grow. If that was game one, imagine what he's going to do once that minute restriction comes off. Tonight, they're playing, and this is his game two. If he plays 18 minutes again, which I hope is not the case, but if he does play 18 minutes again, he's going to have more of a rhythm. Now he's used to, okay, I'm going to come play the first 3 or 4 minutes, come out. Play the first 3 to 4, next 3 to 4, and so he understands now a little bit better what his timing will be as far as from a minute standpoint. I think he's going to be better this game consistently. He may not have another offensive explosion. He may not even score 22 points like he did in the first game, but I think he will be better and more consistent over the course of the game instead of just all impacted in that one little short burst. But that short burst was special. Oh man, that was special. If you're sitting there watching that, you're sitting there and you were seeing greatness. You were watching greatness as a 18, 19-year-old kid trying to take over a game. I literally sent that out I tweeted out, Zion's taking over the game. Man, we all witnessed that. And if you missed it, go back and watch the highlights. Go back, watch the whole tape. It was special, man. So listen, let me know in the comment section below. What do you think Zion's peak is, barring injury? That's the one X factor that nobody can control. So barring injury, can Zion become the next GOAT? Zion Williamson, the GOAT. Go down to the comment section below and let me know. As always, I appreciate you for taking a look at this video. Please consider subscribing to the channel, hit that like button, and tap that notification bell so that you can stay updated with the journey of a Ballaholic.